All right, listen up, Spuds. This is Zap Brannigan, master of time, space, and everything else in between. And, winner of this year's Modesty Award. You're listening to You Suck. What's the difference with Al and Tom? Your one stop for this sort of thing.
Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to USUK's What's the Difference podcast. I'm Alex Whiteley.
And I'm Tom Bruno.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand over to my beautiful co-host there to introduce our guest, because you've gone very good at being able to bring in these amazing guests for us. So please, sir, take it away.
Hey guys, first of all, happy Halloween. This is the Halloween episode. And in fact, it's very spooky. We hope that you're having a very safe and tremendous and candy-filled Halloween. Debauchery, flaming pumpkins, bags of poo, all the things that go into Halloween should be what you're doing right this second.
You Americans do Halloween so much different to us. Bags of poo.
Yeah. Didn't you ever watch Billy Madison? That wasn't a joke, bro. That's how we roll. We show people how we feel about their neighborly status by leaving leavings on the. It's like the trick or the treat, right? Like sometimes
Billy Madison or Little Nicky.
Sometimes you is it a Little Nicky? Is it I was like,
you turned a Pepsi into a Coke. Well done.
That is right. That's more like Canadian thing to do, I guess. But it's very charmingly British. Anyways, regardless, thank you very much for those kind words. I love the month of October. I take it as a personal challenge to bring you the best in whatever I can, essentially, that I find interesting, especially in the spooktacular world of horror. Today, I stumbled upon a trailer a while ago, and you know me, guys, like we brought on the director and writer of Velocipaster on the show because we fucking love underrated movies. We love finding hidden gems, and this movie seemed like it'd be one of those type of things. So I watched the trailer. It was for a movie called Amityville Moon. And I thought it looked very fucking cool, and I'm very indie, and I was like, this is everything that I love in this time of the month. So without thinking it was gonna happen, I kind of looked everything up, and I was like, hey, who wrote this? Oh, Thomas Churchill. Okay, cool. Who directed? Oh, same guy. Okay, all right. And I reached out, and fucking hey, man, that's who's on here today. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Thomas Churchill.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be on your show, guys.
You've got a great surname, by the way. Us Brits, hey. we thank you for that. Cheers.
Thank you. Yeah. I thank my father and his father.
Yes. Well, I feel like it's a good amalgam. This is the USUK, right? Like there's the Churchill that is Alex in England in World War II, and there's Tom, me, which I mean, like what fuck. First of all, fucking where does it all start for you, Tom? Do you prefer Tom or Thomas? Which one?
Whatever you want. I'm easy.
All right. Tom's easy. Well, we'll call you
Takes
Thomas,
a Tom to know a Tom, right?
It does take a Tom to know a Tom. But the fact is, like, I get confused really easily. My little brain. If Alex says, now, Tom, what was it like making the movie? Like, what? I didn't make a movie, Alex. And he's like, yeah, I know. I was talking.
I feel like I need to bring out like an alter ego of Alejandro.
Oh,
instead of Alex, just Alejandro. Hello and welcome to the show. It's me, Alejandro. All hands on that.
You're very fancy. Well, to be totally fair, Alex was going to have a surname that was not English. Alex's last name is Whiteley. Alex, what was your last name going to be?
Well, I was discussing it with the wife actually the other day. She's still like, no, we're not doing it. But I missed the chance of changing my wife's name, which is Sanchez. She's from South America, so I missed out on that. So maybe one day we'll get that done because
it's so bad, it's good. But back to our guest, actually. Thomas, where does it all start for you, man? Like, where does the love of film begin? Where's it lead you? Give us the whole scoop.
Well, I've been in this game for a good minute in the indie world, and lately we've been getting a lot more notice with some of the projects we've been doing. I guess it goes way back to when I was 17 and I made my first movie. Got my first award for it, and it just gave me that high, that I want to continue to do it, the buzz. I started off as an actor. I wanted to be an actor from age 7, pretty much all the way, even 17. And the only reason why I made my first movie is I wanted to showcase myself in this film. So I wrote, produced, directed, got my friends and family together, all that fun stuff, and shot a movie. And at the same process, I just fell in love with this craft of everything that was going on with it, and it took me on a different road. So
it's very impressive. Your fucking IMDb is extremely long, and I respect the fuck out of that, because the way that you're talking about the love of film and the way that you're talking about like making a film at 17 is really always the sign. If not, of course, there's Steven Spielberg at 8 using his dad's Super 8 camera and all that. It always goes to show you that the people that start young are the people that just can't live without film. They must be involved some way, somehow, whether it's learning a craft in film, whether it's writing your own film or directing your own film. Now, you started off wanting to be an actor. How do you make the transition into a director and writer?
Well, I was always writing. In fact, my mom had sent me some years ago when I was in kindergarten or preschool, whatever it was. I had an award that said Doctor of Storytelling. So I was writing back then, and then there was this TV show on in the 70s. I was just a baby, but I remember watching it and liking it, and then I ended up, as an adult, bought the whole series and said, yeah, I did enjoy this. It was called the Kolchak, The Night Stalker. It's a horror series back in the day with Darren McGavin. And it was kind of like The Twilight Zone, but with not The Twilight Zone. Like if you took the movie Fletch with a newspaper guy, but instead of it being it's just horror.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. You guys should check it out. It's called Kolchak with a K. The Night Stalker. If you go on Darren McGavin's IMDb, I'm sure you'll find it. And then there's like tons of episodes. So it always began with the guy typing, because he was a journalist. And so my mom has a picture with me, like imitating Kolchak. Instead of wearing a fedora at 4 or 5, I had my Mickey Mouse ears, and I'm typing on the typewriter. And I just loved watching that, and that kind of influenced me to, dig deep inside the imagination and tell stories. I mean, trying to get what you see in your head out on paper was a whole new bag of tricks to learn how to do, because it's not easy to just, write everything that you see in your head.
Can I be fair? I would have watched the show of you as a little boy solving mysteries, wearing his Mickey Mouse ears, typing up on I think that would have been dope as fuck. I would have watched that all day. Be like, this kid gets it. He's like Encyclopedia Brown, but with Mickey Mouse ears on.
Yeah, it was great.
Leaning against the wall, like, I've got another mystery to solve. He's got his
sipping apple juice in it. He's got candy cigars in his mouth. Amazing.
Well, it'll be a cigar with a kid. I'll be like with a lollipop or some,
Yeah, exactly.
A Twizzler with my Mickey Mouse ears.
Another day, another mystery.
Mom, hold my dinner in the oven. I'll be late tonight. Be home by 6. Okay.
I was off he trot of daycare center with a long teacher. No, so it was fun. So I was writing a lot, and then at 7. I've got the bug bit me to act, and my parents actually threw me in this audition for a film that I was in the top 5 for, a movie called The Champ. And I just fell in love with the acting process, and with the opportunity to possibly be a star in a Hollywood movie, being number 5 out of this huge casting call in New York City. But it wasn't until 10 years later. I mean, I was still doing acting in little plays in school. I was writing little, at my Catholic school I went to, and all this other stuff. I was writing little classroom plays for my friends and I to perform. And did a Grease play in junior high, and then I still had the acting. I still loved it. But it was at 17 when I asked my dad to, buy me a video camera. And that was like, at the time, during those times, video cameras were pretty damn expensive.
Oh yeah, they were nuts. They were the size of fucking bazookas, man. They were huge.
Full size VHS.
What'd your parents think about like the acting of it all? Like, I mean, obviously they were supportive enough to bring you, but I mean, like after that, and you got to the top 5, and it clearly made an impact on you. What were their thoughts after that? Did they ever say?
Well, it was, my mom was always like supportive. My dad was too, but my dad had the tough love. And he always told me, that, always have something to fall back on because, this is 1 in a million, blah, 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 I mean, and, my parents are no longer with me, but they did get a chance to see a lot of the opportunities and films that I've been doing. They saw me move to LA. They saw me, I had to come back for a film that was in a New York Film Festival that we won. So they actually was on the red carpet. So, they got to see some good things that came my way. Got to see me direct a big action film. I mean, it was good from going from the little kid that just dreamt it, is actually doing it. So, I'm a true believer in the whole manifestation. And if you believe it, if you can dream it and believe it, you absolutely will receive it. And it's just, you just got to stay focused and humbled and be nice to the people going up, because you're going to see the same people coming back down,
Very valuable advice, and we've spoken to people either side of the camera on our journey with what's the difference. This is all about culture, right? And it's not, we're not necessarily want to speak to all the actors. We want to speak to producers and writers, and people that build the props. Anything that takes an idea and makes it a reality. And when it comes to like young actors and young directors, we've spoken to many, and Luke Allen springs to mind. We we had this episode with Luke Allen and Alex Yousefi. Alex was 15 at the time, and they're making huge waves here in Shropshire in the UK. In fact, I've just been to an audition for something that they're co-working with Rocking Horse Media, Gareth, and they're making a thing called Karen. It's a drama set in a nursing home, and they're trying to find their Alid today. I've got some pictures to show you.
Show us pictures.
So that's the auditions, we've got the mics, and I was part of the panel. It's very odd to be part of the panel and to judge people. You're
like, judge not, let you be judged. And you storm out of the room.
I mean,
to watch, Alex, come on.
But to see them come up, and then they do these interviews as the character, they ask him questions as the actor, and then he would react as the actor would react, and then they do scenes. And for me to go, well, no, this isn't right, and this, I felt like a dick doing that, honestly. But it's great to be a part of it. But you've got to start from somewhere, right, Thomas? You've got to these young kids, they're making these short movies now, but that's just the building blocks, right?
Yeah, I would actually say, look, as earlier, whether it's what I stated about manifestation, it could be any career. It could be anything. It could be any, it just doesn't have to be the world of make believe. It could be anything. If you put the work in and you feel it, and it's always, it's never greed, it's passion. Of course, it's the film business, so it has to make money. So you have to make money in order to continue to work, because it's an expensive hobby if it's just a hobby. But what you were saying about, you absolutely, though, I would tell people out there, families and parents, and if their kids have showing early signs of acting and playing pretend, or whatever it is, just encourage them, nurture them, let them follow that, let them follow their heart, and let them figure out what they want to be, or what is inside of them that's already programmed what they're going to do in life. When I was a kid in high school, when I made my first movie in high school, I was written up in all these newspapers, and people were calling me, look at it, Spielberg, thinking they were picking on me. But I mean, Spielberg and Hitchcock were my idols. So if you're comparing me to them at 17, and I was like, well, those got big shoes to fill. That's. But what I was getting at with high school is I got invited to a few schools for elementary school to talk about careers. And I'm like, wait, I'm a high school kid. What the hell do I know about this? So they were like, my guidance counselor and the principal said, no, you got to represent the school and just tell them, how you feel, how you're doing it. Well, so I went around the room. I remember asking all these kids what they wanted to be when they grew up. Out of the 30 or 40 kids in there might have been about 6 that stated they either want to be a basketball player, an actor, or whatever. Everybody else was basic common, garbage man, and it's not common. It's jobs we need, people that want to do it. They're following their family or whatever, or a policeman is honorable, teacher. All the jobs are good. And I told those 6 kids, I remember this, that I told those 6 kids, in life, there's going to be curveballs. It's going to be people telling you no along the way. No, no, no. And I didn't know this then. It just came to me. I'm 17. I said, people are going to tell you no along the way, but you got to stay on that path. You got to stay focused. If you believe it inside of you and you're listening to that voice, nobody can tell you no. You have to do for you. So if you want to be that doctor, if you want to be that basketball player, if you want to be that congressman or whatever, you can do it. Just stay the focus. And again, life's going to throw curveballs at you. There's going to be jobs and this. It's going to, like Stallone said in, Rocky Balboa, it doesn't matter how hard you get hit and how far you fall. It's when you keep getting up, and
I love that.
Punches. It's not about, that's what life will throw everything at you, but it's how much do you want it? What's your passion? How much can you stay focused and dodge everything and just stay on your path? And you'll achieve it. You'll achieve everything you want.
I would argue that the advice that you gave them actually meant more coming from you, because like when adults talk to kids, right? Like especially back in the day, we didn't realize we had to get on their level and speak to them as humans.
Right.
Adults tend to talk down to kids. I still do it sometimes, ever so often, even though I'm very aware of it. So the fact that you're almost their peer, right? Like these kindergartners, these first graders, they're looking up at you and they're like, oh, he's a high schooler. One day I'm going to be a high schooler. They can relate to you. So when you give these words of like, hey, you can do it, put your mind to it and believe in yourself and all this, I feel like that would, impact their lives more. So I tend to agree with your principal and your guidance counselor. I think it's a really good choice because you're inspiring me right now as we sit here and just bullshit.
I'd have ruined it. I'd be like, you're all going to be stars apart from you, and you. You're fucking useless.
Right. If I was an adult and I'm talking to the kids, they're going to hear the Charlie Brown teacher. And they checked out that who's playing with their pen as a rocket ship, who's doing these little things, playing with their, that's what I was doing in class.
That kid's way smarter than me. I would be like, this pen looks like it fit my ass. I'm going to see how far. Let's get back to what you're saying though about the business of Hollywood. There has been a really cool trend going out where because before it was, if your movie did not make X amount of money and go surpass how much you put into it, then the investment's not worth it. But now with as many like streaming and media devices there are that you're able to view stuff on, there's been like this real upsurge with like, hey, we don't need it to make tons of money. It can make a tiny bit of money, but getting our name out there is more important than anything else. Would you agree with that? If as long as you don't go in the negative, is it still, is it still a good thing?
Depending on how you look at it, if you're using somebody else's money, it's hard to tell the guy, hey, we came this close, but at the end of the day, yes, it's all about getting that content out there. And if you can get that content on any platform, on a DVD in the store or streaming anywhere, then you succeeded. You made a project and you put it out. The biggest thing when I do conventions and I get invited to do conventions and I do panel discussions, they always ask me, how about being successful? I'm still growing. Yes, I've had some success and I'm grateful and I'm blessed for it. But the one thing that I tell people is 2 things. Well, 1 thing and 2 things. Is number 1, always finish your work. Always finish the product. Don't, because you got X amount of money, overthink things, shoot your load, and go and plan something bigger than your budget. Number 2, never ever tell an investor, hey, I need finishing funds. Because the first thing the investor is going to turn around to you and say, why couldn't you finish the movie with the money you had? Now, if I'm giving you more money, what makes you think that you're going to finish the movie on my money? So I always say reword that, because finishing funds is just so negative to say. Say, hey, we got a great movie, and we want to add some cool little things to it. So we're actually looking for maybe a few extra bucks just to go out and shoot an extra scene or two. That sounds so much better than saying, hey, I need finishing funds. Well, what happened? You couldn't finish your movie.
Where does that derive from? Finishing funds? Is that like just a term that me and Alex are not really familiar with because we're not necessarily in the know? No. This is part of it, is the learning experience. That is talking to people like yourself who talk in this parlance, and we kind of need, like, we speak to doctors ever so often, and we've been very fortunate. We talk to doctors that are really good at breaking shit down the layman. So me and Alex are like, oh, the heart pumps blood. Okay, gotcha. I gotcha.
So finishing funds means if someone, as I said, runs out of their money to make their movie, or they didn't plan the full budget when, like, hey, I got $10, I got to make this $10 stretch the whole movie. Whether you're like, oh, you know what, we can get Larry, who is on The Price is Right. He's a big celebrity, which he's not. He wants $8. I'm going to give him $8. And now you're like, oh shit, I got $2 to do the rest of my movie. What am I going to do? So, and that's what you would call finishing funds. And then it just brings me up to the character Larry I just mentioned. Yeah. For any filmmakers listening, here's a little word of advice. If you want to put a name or something in a movie that's going to help your movie, that's great. You can find them at conventions. You can find them at, you look on TV or whatever. If you have the budget and you can do it, do it. Don't put anybody that was a town celebrity that worked at the neighborhood supermarket that went on Survivor for a day, and you think, he's, I got this guy. He's in my movie. Nobody cares. Nobody knows who he is. The biggest advice I can say to someone is, throw a name at your mom. If your mom don't know who they are, nobody else is going to know who they are. And that's the key. And just like I love all my horror fans, I love all my horror icons. They're all my friends. But when you're pitching some movies with some of these actors, the first thing, and if you have to tell the investor who they were or who they are, then you already lost your battle, because half your audience, if you're looking to make a movie for the world, not just the horror world, there's different genres. Just like romantic comedies, there's actors on Lifetime, there's actors on the Lifetime network that are around, but they're not necessarily famous across the world. So when you're pitching people that you think is famous, which they are in their own right, and if you have to go back and say, they were in this movie, and then they're like, oh, this, and then when they watch them, they're like, the guy that gave the actor a paper bag, they're not. So do your research, spend your money wisely, because again, you got one chance. If it's your first movie, you got one chance to impress people. You got one chance to make your money back.
See, it's funny that you say that, because me and Alex had an experience back in the summertime where we had the opportunity to interview somebody so offhandedly too. It kind of fell in our lap, and we got the opportunity to speak to somebody that was notorious. And I think it goes along with what you were just saying, like, there's famous, but then there's famous, like everybody knows people. And me and Alex did this interview with Carol Baskins, the girl with Tiger King, and we knew that it was a notorious name, but it was like, my kids know who she is, and my mom know who she is. She's never seen the documentary. They know who this lady is. So It was important for us to kind of like at least attempt.
Oh, it pissed people off though.
It pissed really people off so bad. And me and Alex were in the background like, why? It's just a conversation. It's not like we're sitting there advocating for anything. It's not like we're saying, hey, do this or don't do that, or yelling at this person. We took the opportunity to interview this lady because, one, she was actually a lot nicer than we had any real ideas she was going to be, right? And then also, like, we were like, this is an opportunity to speak to somebody that's globally famous. So I completely agree with what you're saying about, if you're going to go for it, because it's something that me and Alex have lived before, and it's tried and true, unfortunately.
Right. I mean, or just be humble and make a movie. If you got a great story, just tell the story. If you got a great story and it's executed well, people are going to watch it. People are going to listen. I mean, you may make look at the what the hell is the movie? The Blair Witch Project. You know, everybody talked about that film. But what made people watch that movie was because it was the marketing made it sound like, oh my God, you know, this is true. But no, they never said it was a true story. And here you had three actors playing themselves, kind of, you know, and they're playing their own names, you know, their own self in a movie, a version of themselves. And this movie got big and big. And it was shot for, I don't know, $35,000 or $40,000 supposedly. And it went on to make a fortune. It went on
Paranormal Activity as well. That was another one. The highest grossing, highest profiting movie of all time. Paranormal Activity is.
Blair Witch was done. The marketing, I'm glad that you said the marketing was done so well on that like up until I think the day of the movie, everybody thought that movie was real because it was one of the first like super famous found footage films. The Poughkeepsie tapes, obviously
terrible, by the way.
Really get out of here! It's brilliant.
I like horror movies, but I thought I was like, what the fuck is this?
Oh, it's brilliant. It's so fucking brilliant. Like
but this is before there was any sort of camera stabilization. There was, you know, I mean, like they only show you certain things on the trailer, so when you're watching the movie, you're like, oh my God, this looks pretty good. Like they're all showing you the static shots, you know, the scenes that the camera's not moving. And then when you actually go to the movie, you know, I mean, it was one of those things that I think it was torn between the audience. You either really loved it or said, what the hell did I just watch?
It reminds me of because Cloverfield did something different, similar as well, didn't they? Did that with Cloverfield, and I really liked Cloverfield.
Yeah, but it was a bigger budget, and it had actors in it, you know, and it was probably J.J. Abrams, you know, so people went in. So I can honestly say that Blair Witch Project did start the trend of the found footage, is probably, and also started the whole POV point of view style of filmmaking as well, you know, which, you know, it's cheaply done. It was executed, and you know, you waited the whole movie to see nothing.
Exactly. That's the other kicker of it all, is like literally you get through the whole thing and then you see virtually nothing. It's very well done.
Yeah.
Because we're already getting in there.
Like a Seinfeld episode, you know, I mean, Seinfeld shows about nothing, but you enjoy it.
A Seinfeld episode with a bunch of whiny teenagers that are like, "Where's the map?"
It's all about. It's all about the writing, though, isn't it? I mean, like, you know, you think of Signs, right? Signs was a great film, and you saw the alien like 3 times briefly. Yeah, and it's all about the build up and that writing. If you got that skill, man, wow.
When we're talking to David Kirshner, I really kind of like pat him on the back because he was the producer on Child's Play, the original. And I said, like, the fact that you guys jaws it up, right? Like, you don't see Chucky until very close to the end of the movie. You see him in the background, you see him like POV and all that stuff, but you don't see Chucky. And I find that to be far more effective than if you just drop the doll in your laps and you're like, yep, there's Chucky and he's going to stab you in the face right now. It's far creepier, which is kind of like ruined for the sequence of the films that come after it, because obviously once you see Chucky and expect him, you kind of want that more. But in that first one, it does it very well. And he's like, oh, thank you so much for saying that, because the original director of it really wanted to just drop Chucky like right off the bat and have him be in the forefront. And I was like, dude, that would have been the wrong thing to do. It
Small soldiers, right?
Better. Like a Small Soldiers as well. It works a lot better that way. So tell us about the Amityville Moon. Where did this come from? When did you have the idea for it? Like how production went? Tell us everything about it before we play the trailer.
So it goes back to there was a movie I did, which is actually released in Europe, in the UK and Germany. So it should be coming out in the United States soon, called Big Freaking Rat. It's a campy, I think Friday the 13th meets Jaws, but with a giant rat. And
oh, that's awesome.
It's a creature feature that was designed pretty much like I wanted to do something to have fun and still tell a cool story. Be campy to a point, but not campy. Give the characters real, have the characters be relatable and everything else. And it did very well in Europe. And I don't know if it's still called Big Freaking Rat in Europe or Big Rat. I know in Germany they called it Big Bad Rat. So
nice. That's a dope ass title, Big Bad Rat.
And when we were filming that film, I came up with a concept, a trilogy to do for the an Amityville story. One was called the Amityville Harvest, which came out last year through Lionsgate, which is about a vampire living in Amityville, and he owns a funeral home.
Oh, cool!
Which is great. It's a fun film. And then we wanted to follow that up with the Amityville Moon, which is a werewolf film. And that was just released through Lionsgate on October 5th. And so it's a good Halloween movie. I wanted to do a werewolf movie that kind of played back to my childhood, where I grew up with American Werewolf from London, The Howling, Silver Bullet, especially in the original, the Wolfman. I mean, I wasn't around when that was made, but I just love those films, and I love the practical effects. And I thought they nailed it. All those movies nailed it. And I wanted to tell a story that at least I'd like to be in the same room with those great titles and do something for the fans, for myself, and to tell something in a werewolf movie in a murder mystery type of way. Like if Alfred Hitchcock was directing a werewolf movie, how would it be told? You know, who did it? Who is it? So I wanted to do something like that with practical effects. I wanted to absolutely do a transformation scene that, echoes American Werewolf and Howling and all those guys. And, I called up my one of my best friends, Roy Kinnear, at Soda Effects, and we talked about it. And because I was on a TV show with Roy about 10 years ago called Monster Man that was on the Sci-Fi Network. And at the time, I was supposed to do this other werewolf movie, and everything just fell apart with it. The investor was, not real, and all that stuff. So it was. Was he
a Nigerian prince? He's like, I will give you lots of money, and you're like, yeah, sounds great. We're gonna make a movie, guys.
No, the Nigerian prince keeps calling me up to tell me that I got an uncle trapped in a mudslide, and pays of $5 million to send me if I send him $5,000.
Can I chip in towards this? I want to save your uncle from this mudslide, dude. I'm very concerned right now.
I keep getting messages off women on Facebook saying, "Do you want to see my tits? Click on this link." And
then you're like, I want to see them, but I don't want to pay for them. That seems ridiculous. So give them free or don't give them at all.
So with the Amityville Moon, we told a great film. I think it's fun. It's a throwback to the 80s. It has I wanted to feel like a nostalgia type of film, and it has that. It feels like that. And then
big at the moment, that is. It's huge. It's in trend, isn't it?
And I wanted to tell that. And I also, with music, what makes what makes a movie feel like the 80s is, in the horror, would be John Carpenter. So I wanted to have some sort of, nod to his type of musical style. And we did that with the score with Amityville Moon. So, it's doing pretty good. It just came out. People, I'm reading, a lot of positive reviews, and, the negative reviews, I read a line and I put it away because,
good.
Them guys.
It comes down to the fact that you made a movie and they hate themselves for not doing something. They can criticize you all they want and try to point out the faults, whatever they feel it might be. But the fact is, you made a movie. They didn't. If they have something to fucking say, make your own movie. Then we can judge you, motherfuckers.
Tom, they can easily make a movie if they come out of their mom's basement.
Yeah, it's true. But fucking mom's basement's warm and there's cookies and shit. Let's play the trailer really quick, and then we'll continue the chat.
Right, here
we go. God, it's creepy down here.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Did you hear something?
Mr. Nolan, Carla Montgomery. Go find them. Take them back to the halfway house.
I pray to God that you bring our girls back safe and sound.
A search for runaways.
I think you're only going to find one girl.
Why's that?
Because she's dead. Gone, taken. Just like the others.
Will turn into something sinister.
I got a lead on one of the girls.
Now who has got you running? Hey, can I help you with something?
I'm only here to take her back to St. Matthias.
Screw you. She's not going anywhere.
When the moon rises,
Who's after you?
Not who, more like what?
the beast
Silver Bullet? You got a werewolf problem in this church?
is unleashed. The Amityville Moon.
Your grip, sister. It's hurting my arm.
Better to hold on to you, my dear.
Nice. Very cool. Right off the bat, that looks amazing. I love practical effects, especially in werewolf movies. Me and Alex is one of our favorite. It's one of the things that we kind of like talked about very early on in a relationship, and it bonded us instantly. Was
Because it's a fucking art. It's an art.
Great, dude. We love Dog Soldiers. Dog Soldiers is one of our favorite fucking werewolf movies. The great Neil Marshall, of course, made it, and it's all practical. Like there is not a drop of CGI in there. Now, when it comes to making something as real and raw as horror, I mean, it's got to be practical. Like CGI is kind of killing it because just the overuse and the oversaturation of it, right?
But yeah, I mean, CGI has its place.
An Avengers
Trash. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, but certain things. I mean, if CGI does have its place in films, and CGI was basically where it should be blended in with the regular film, not like taking you out and saying, "Well, there's obviously fake." You know, I mean. Like the remake of The Wolfman, the transformation was cool, but it was all CGI. The sequel to American Werewolf in London, which maybe 5 people saw.
I have a dirty. I'm sorry to cut you off. I have a dirty secret. I love that fucking movie. I still love that fucking American Werewolf in Paris. I still love that fucking movie. I'm horrible. It came out the right time. I was young and impressionable, and I fucking love that movie. Keep going. Keep going.
Was prequels too?
I did. I did, except I didn't like the sequel, the 2 and 3, because like they were long and boring and talking about trade routes with fucking political issues. And I'm like, bring back the Sith. This is stupid. But American Werewolf in Paris had boobs in it. 1, 2. It had werewolves, and I liked the soundtrack, the Bush song.
Completely CGI.
Yeah, it was so CGI. There was a couple like in that graveyard scene, where they go and fuck on John or what's his face from The Doors, like Jim Morrison. When they fuck on Jim Morrison's grave, that is real, except for the part where he hops to the doors. But it's not American Werewolf in London. American Werewolf in London is a fucking treasure, whereas American Werewolf in Paris, I was one of those 5 people that saw it.
It was that era of movies though where everything was CGI. I mean, one of the biggest biggest disappointments, which is weird because I used to love it, was the Spawn movie. I really love Spawn.
Poor Spawn.
And it's a fucking abomination. You look at it and you think, how did they look at this and go, yeah, that'll do?
Oh, yeah, it's great. Look at that cape. That cape looks so real, right, Todd? He's like, no. He's like, here's another million, Todd. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
So I just was revisiting Dune, the 1986.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't see the new version yet, but I'm planning this weekend to refinish the 1986 version and then the new version. But it was the special effects in the 86 movie was like Tron. I mean, they were just so cartoony. But at the time when it came out, people were, saying, "Oh my God, it's groundbreaking." It's got to be groundbreaking somewhere because, where we are now is just, we expect it, I mean, groundbreaking is making dinosaurs appear in the same scene as you back in 92 with Jurassic Park. And it was like, oh my God. Groundbreaking is Marty McFly flying in a DeLorean.
And I feel like that's why they're revisiting these things, though, like Dune, like Blade Runner, like, you know, The Matrix, even, you know, because that was the technology is better now, and it's where it could be to make it these original IPs look fresh and new and reinvigorate those imaginations in people. I think it's promising, but I just hope they don't overdo it, you know.
Certain films, like you brought up, you know, a couple of the really good ones, and especially like if you look at Jurassic Park, still today, the CGI is pretty fucking phenomenal. You're like, they pulled that off, but then Harry Potter comes out like 10 years later and it looks like dog shit. And you're just like, wow, I could build one better on my phone right now and make Harry Potter look like he's fucking flying. Right. It's very interesting how they kind of like pick and choose which films are going to be the ones that like really take us forward in CGI. Are you excited for the new Doom film? It looks great.
You know, I mean, I'm always a Star Wars fan at heart. And, you know, all sci-fi films, when I watch them, it always brings me back to Star Wars, you know, I mean, but Dune does look spectacular. You know, I mean, I was excited to watch Stargate. And then when I watched that movie, I thought it was okay. The special effects were great, but it was, you know, I guess it did well because it's
the series was so much better.
It spawned 2 series, you know, and it actually gave birth to Jason Momoa.
Of course, yes. Stargate Atlantis.
Oh, I didn't want. Really? He was Aquaman and he was in Stargate Atlantis.
Well, he was before Aquaman. This is
of course. Motherfucker can't stay out of the ocean.
Also in the other movie that nobody really talks about anymore was the remake of Conan the Barbarian. He was Conan.
Oh yeah, I forgot that movie came out. Wow. Like
exactly.
Yeah, no one's on apparently.
Those people watched American Werewolf in Paris.
No, they did not. We did not. It was made by Dimension. It was good. It was around. It came out the same exact time that like Halloween, Curse of Michael Myers came out. Like Dimension was putting out some real stinkers at that time, and I was just lapping it all up because like horror used to be edgy, right? Like going into the video store and skipping past the comedy and the action and the drama and the romance and going right to the horror section and picking out what you're going to watch. And as a kid, it doesn't matter if it's fucking garbage. It just matters that it's kind of like edgy and risky. And like my dad wasn't really big on like, you know, he let me watch horror movies, which I thank him to this day for. I'm like, man, I got to see everything I always wanted to see because you know, let me rent it. He bought me the Nightmare on Elm Street box set on VHS when I was like 11. So like horror has always been very, very important to me.
But the greatest decade of horror is the 80s.
Yes. Oh, yes. The Thing's fucking phenomenal. My God, that
every great movie, every great horror film, because you were allowed to step over that line to a point, you know. And now everything is, you know, you gotta watch what you shoot. You can't have this. You can't put 2 different things in the same scene. You know, you can't have that. You can't have, which, you know, I get it. I absolutely get it, and I'm all for doing things the right way for because movies are impressionable to people, and some people don't know how to relate to it's just a movie, you know, and take things in their own hands and try to recreate scenes with their family and hurt people. You know, I mean, we're living in a society now that I was just on a show not too long ago, and I talked about that. You know, I'm a little older than you guys. I think. And you know, back when I was a kid, most of our conversations with my family was around the dinner table. It was everybody always ate dinner together. We talked about everything. There was always one day dedicated to the family. You didn't really go out. You didn't really hang out with your friends. You sat home. You played games with your folks and brothers and siblings, and you watched movies. I used to come home from school and, you know, beeline home because I knew my back then. I knew my dad just went to the video store and he got the 3 movies we're going to watch tonight. 3 movies.
Yes.
We're going to sit after dinner.
Friday nights for us. That was amazing.
It was amazing. And even parks. you know, you drive past parks, there's nobody playing in the park no more. When I was a kid, there was all these games. People were playing balls, football, baseball, soccer. Everything was happening. Kids were on swings. Families were.
I think that kind of stopped actually, like in the 80s. Actually, I think that was the era. I take it you're from New York City, right? I take it from what you were saying earlier and the parks and all that. Am I right?
Yeah, born in Brooklyn, raised in Queens, New York City.
Okay. So first of all, I'm a New Yorker as well. I'm just the bastard son New Yorker. I'm from Poughkeepsie, right next to Fishbowl.
Your accent isn't half as badass as Thomas's. I love that accent.
No.
As a British
Thomas
guy,
is a
I
real
love that American accent. I think.
Yeah, I can't. I try to hide my accent at times because people say,
"Oh man, accentuate that shit."
Yeah. New York's a great accent, and the fact is, I have more of a Canadian accent. I moved all the way up fucking top.
Hey.
I was watching Unsolved Mysteries, and there was this portion of it about these two toddlers that got taken from Central Park, like within 3 months of one another, and that was like in '83 or something along those lines. And that was also the time that Johnny Gosch got taken. I think in the '80s is when people became really aware, and that's when like just letting your kids go to the park by themselves and all that type of shit. I think that just went to a kaput at that point.
But you don't really go to the park by yourselves. You go with a group. You go with your boys. You go with your friends. You're gonna.
Yeah.
And plus, at parks, at least all the parks that I was aware of and that I went to, they were always divided by sections. You got your swings and your little seesaws, and there was moms and dads there with their kids. Then you had your handball courts where there was always people playing handball or paddleball. Then you had your softball or hardball areas where there was always people playing. And you usually go to the park with your friends. And, we went to the parks, but we also played stickball that nobody plays anymore. I've been working on a script about stickball. I'd love to.
Nice.
You guys have got so much better parks than what we have over here, don't you?
Oh yeah, dude. Our parks are bad.
We've got a crackhead that's fallen asleep on top, while the foot covered in graffiti. While there's some like
we got that too, Alex.
Sat on the swing smoking. I went to a park in Belgium actually. Went to see friends in Brussels, and we were walking through one of the parks, and I was like, "What the shit? Like this is amazing!" Like,
Well, I mean, like you got to have a place you can bring the kids, Alex. But we have all those things too. It's just that happens after dark. Once the kids leave, then the guys there smoking crack and the bums and all that type of stuff. Then they sneak onto the parks, unless you live in the middle of nowhere like I do, in which case it's all fucking goats and shit. I don't know.
I do have some questions though about your process, Thomas, about like how you put things together, because after all these years now, when it comes to creating a new idea, so you've got the script right there in your hand, you've got it. The process from there to having the finished article in your hand, do you have that process written down now? Is it just natural for you? Right, we need to get casting, we need to do this, we need to do that.
Yeah. I mean, yes, once you write a script and once it's kind of greenlit by whoever the investor is, whether it's a studio or private investor, and you have the money locked into the bank, then you plan on the next step. I mean, there's a lot of business aspect that has to go on with the money in the bank and everything else. But for the creative process, then you begin your casting. You get who you think is going to be great for the roles. Once you get your casting in line, then you can either do two things at the same time. You can either get the locations locked in because you can set your dates, which I normally do. I lock my dates in so I know we're shooting here. We're shooting this. We're shooting this time, from this date to this date. And then I'll go out and lock my locations in. Then I'll go and cast. Because this way, if I have an actor says, I'm going to be out of town, I already know that before I even finish their audition. Are you available on these dates? Yes or no. Okay, next, once the casting process is finished, then we go into a little bit of pre-pro. We start building some sets or whatever we need to do, and then we get on set. Usually a few weeks of shooting, and then from shooting, we go into the post-production process, which is your editing, your coloring, your your cast, your credits, your sound, your score. So a movie is actually made 3 times, Alex. Once as a writer, once as the director, once as the editor. So a movie is always made 3 times.
Yeah.
That's
That's genuinely really interesting because.
I mean, it is, but I always feel like you're always like Alex is always like busy doing something. I'll be like, hey man, what are you doing? I'll be sitting there watching a movie, and you'd be like, oh, I'm editing. Oh, I'm planning. Oh, I'm doing this. I'm like, that sounds stupid. Why are you doing that? He's like, because the show doesn't go out if I don't.
It's just really. It's really just really good after the years of experience of doing this, of having that process locked down. Because when we did a 24-hour podcast for charity a while ago, Thomas, called Pod Aid, and when we first started planning, I was kind of like, I was just kind of like, let's do everything at the same time. But if I'd have had that process locked down, and if I'd have had the process ready, it probably would have been a lot easier. So I'm learning as I go along.
Now you guys are one's in the UK and one's in the States. Or
yeah. I'm in Vermont, and Alex lives in Shrewsbury, UK.
Oh, I get my nothing from Shrewsbury. I was trying to.
Oh shit! But he gets even less than me.
Where is Shrewsbury at?
It's just near the Welsh border. It's actually the birthplace of Charles Darwin.
Okay.
So it's if you know where Birmingham is in the UK.
Is it also near the? Isn't it almost the birthplace of Tom Jones as well?
That's Wales. That's Cardiff, I think. Yeah.
I was like, how does Thomas know more about where Alex lives than I do? And I've known Alex for like 4 years now. This is fucking crazy. Tom Jones.
I've been to London once a long time ago. I loved it. And then I've been to Paris same time. And it's crazy. My mom was obsessed with Tom Jones. And
you want to be loved.
She wanted to name me after Tom Jones. And my father put his foot down. So she got the first name and the initials. So I was actually named, my middle initial now is not Jones. It was named after my grandfather. But
that's Shrewsbury and that's London.
Oh.
So and then here,
that's a good distance. How many how far is that from London in a drive?
About 3 hours. Three and a half hours to London.
Interesting. And is that the Thames on the left or no?
Oh
no, that's a big ocean.
Oh yeah, that's the Bristol Channel just there. This is Wales. This bit here. Okay. So
that's pretty cool.
Swansea, Cardiff.
Welcome to Maps and Makers by Tom and Alex.
I thought I'd just add a bit of context to know.
No, it's all good.
You come to the States at all, or you're UK guy?
I wish.
The closest I've come to the States is Hawaii. That was years ago. But we made plans last year for me to come over. Then COVID hit. So soon.
COVID is
the killer of all.
Yeah, it's
killer of fun, killer of freedom.
It's like the bad guys in Scooby Doo. It's like I would have got away with it too if it wasn't for your Beverly kids. I would have been there if it wasn't for COVID.
It's true. I'm going to start using it actually.
I think I'm the only guy that goes, oh no. Where do you want to go in America? You want to go to the Grand Canyon, Las Vegas, LA, New York? No, I want to go to New England.
Yeah.
Let me go to Vermont.
New England. I want to judge it and be like, it's not as good as Old England. And we're like, yeah, we get it, Alex. Old England's great.
Vermont gets cold in this winter time, don't it?
No shit. It was 39 today when I was out and about walking my dog. I'm like, fuck me. This is not the time. This is why, when I go trick or treating, we're actually recording a week behind, guys. So hey, when I go trick or treating on Halloween, we'll be driving an hour south just so we don't have to put on fucking jackets to go trick or treating because I think it's stupid. We're running short.
I left New York. Because, to come out here. But I was so tired of the weather in New York is brutal. 6 months out of the year, it's great. 6 months out of the year, you're freezing your butt off. But it's January and February, beginning of February, where it is so cold that you feel no matter how many layers of clothing you're in, it cuts right through you when you hit the bone. Oh, yeah. I mean, Alex, you get the same weather as East New York and all that other stuff, don't you?
We can do. I mean, we do get a lot of snow, and it does get to I think every year for the last few years, it's got to minus 20 degrees Celsius, which is a bit similar to what Tom gets. I think it's a little bit colder in Vermont.
Yeah.
But
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
I always like it, especially because this will be released this week. Or I would like to know, can you give some recommendations? What if people are gonna watch, let's say, 3 horror movies for Halloween? As a filmmaker, which 3 would you recommend to binge watch?
Well, I would tell them to go to the theater and watch Halloween Kills.
Oh snap!
I enjoyed it. I think it's a great film. It's a fun film. It's pretty much everything you wanted to see with Michael Myers. And then I would tell them to binge watch 2 of my favorites of all time. Would be Psycho, and the original Psycho, not the Gus Van Sant remake that you just
not the one with Anne Heche's asshole in it.
Yeah, and the original Exorcist. And if I had to add 3 more to that list, I would tell them to watch The Shining, Silence of the Lambs, and probably Exorcist 3, because it's underrated and it's a great.
I still to this day have horrors, nightmares. There's this scene in Exorcist 3 where they're just looking down the corridor of the hospital and you see the knife, the lady with the knife walk past.
With the hedge clippers.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And then the Jesus crying.
Yeah.
Blood. Yeah.
Jesus don't cry. He just sweats man tears, bro. Thomas, I gotta say, man, you are a fucking national treasure. There should be 1,000 more people just like you. Actually, no, there shouldn't be, because then you wouldn't be as cool as you fucking are. But what I'm trying to say out of it is that, I love a person that takes their passion, they make it happen, they put it all on the line, they, say this is what it is and this is how I'm going to do it, and I'm going to stick by these guns because this is what's important to me. I love the fact that you chose a werewolf fucking movie to go with Amityville, because I love the Amityville horror as well. I think that it was just an exceptional thing, and I, for one, am going to be watching this tonight because I always spend my weekends watching horror films. So yours will be on the top of the list tonight, sir.
Well, thank you. I mean, I'm just blessed and grateful, and I don't want to get all religious and all, and I just feel that God put me on this path and just following his path and what he wants me to do, and here I am.
Sorry, Tom, I didn't mean to cut you off. But to the future Thomas Churchills out there, the Luke Allens and the Gareth Thomases out there that I've worked with today, the people that are working their way up, what advice would you give them?
Don't take no for an answer. Well, depending on what it is. Let me stop there. Be persistent and follow your heart, follow your goals. Listen to that little voice inside of you, because that little voice is in there for a purpose, to guide you in making your right decisions. So, forget about the little good guy on your shoulder and the bad guy on the shoulder. It's the guy inside of you that you got to listen to. And everybody has a path in life that they're walking to achieve what their goal is, no matter what their goal is. Now, when you get naysayers and people telling you, no, you can't. These are the frustrated people, or people that's trying to guide you in their way of doing it instead of your way. Now, when I say frustrated people, these might have people that might be people that deep down never achieved their goal or never and settled. And, instead of being that baseball player, now they're that coach, which is fine, because you need a good coach. But you also have to understand everybody's got that fork in the road. And wherever that fork is, the road that you have to take is all inside of you. The road that you're not supposed to take, you say, fork it. You don't have to go that way. And you just follow all of your passion and put it all out there. If you, as I said earlier, if you dream it and you truly believe it, you'll receive it.
Excellent. I love it. Where can people see your stuff? Where can they get a hold of you if they want to do so? Where can they keep track of you?
I'm on social media as well, under Thomas J. Churchill or ChurchillProductions.com is my website. You can Google me and I pop up. Sometimes I'll knock on your door and say, hey, what do you want? Or, if you're looking to watch any of my films, you just type my name in, whether it's your cable box or your streaming service. I'll save people. I only have one movie on Netflix. It's a movie I wrote called The Hard Way with Spawn himself, Michael J. White.
What?
Yeah, I wrote that film, The Hard Way, but most of my films are probably streaming or in stores or whatever. I mean, again, I've done action films, I've done horror films, I've done family films. I got a Christmas movie that's on BET Plus called The Business of Christmas. If you want to watch a good action film, you got Checkpoint, Nation's Fire, and The Hard Way. If you got horror, I would recommend people to watch the Amityville Moon that just came out, as well as if you want to watch the Amityville Harvest, have a Thomas Churchill double feature night.
Fucking A, it's what I'm probably
Sounds
doing
great.
Fuck yes.
Let's get Thomas back on.
Yes,
Yeah.
after we watch it.
Let's get Thomas back on.
Yes, let's get Thomas back on. Let's talk about Thomas like he's not here right now. Let's get that Thomas guy back on, right?
Yes. Can we keep him? Stay.
Yeah.
He's got some set of hair.
Yeah. Oh, he's so masculine. Yeah. See, we got
follicle challenge. You got to stick together.
That's right.
It's all good.
What we tend to do. Oh, sorry.
Yep. No,
I was going to explain what we tend to do now is we're going to go over to the later lounge, which is a good 20 minutes where we can sit and just catch up. We haven't seen each other for a couple of weeks, so we're going to talk about what we've been up to and stuff. And we'll let you go and get on with your day. But Thomas, you've been a genuine pleasure to speak to.
Thank you, sir. Both of you guys. Thank you very much.
You've honestly, seriously, thank you. And we hope you have a great rest of the day. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thomas Churchill. Great.
Thank you very much.
Honestly.
Be blessed, guys. Be blessed. Thank you, and hope to see you guys soon.
Have a great day.
Ciao.
Right. Okay. So we're going to quickly get over to the later lounge, which I'm very sorry, guys. There's been a change of management, so things have been changed up a little bit in the later lounge. So should we go over there?
Yeah, let's go. Let's check it.
Welcome to the later lounge.
Fucking love that so much. That was badass. Oh my god, I can't believe they turned this fucking strip club into a metal joint. It's so good.
Oh, I love it.
They still have the poles though. What the fuck's that all about?
Yeah, I know, but they've just got sad goths just in the corners.
Yeah. Doing that fucking South Park dance.
There's
That was
the fat guy
fun.
from the Limp Bizkit video, just walking up and down.
That was fun. I love talking to people involved in horror, especially this time of the month.
Yeah. Really nice, sincere guy, and I love that. There seems to be an emphasis there just to try and help people out a little bit, and I really like that.
Yes.
You know.
So speaking of Halloween, fucking, what are you guys gonna do on Halloween?
Not an awful lot, to be honest. Not an awful lot at all. Timmy went to a party for beavers, which is
what
for cups.
Oh yeah. I was like, whoa, Alex, fucking what? All right. So you
not
went
that kind of club, not that kind of club, man. Okay. I've been so busy, like I'm trying to catch up with stuff, since Pod Aid, like I've really fucked myself over because like after Pod Aid I was told to rest by everybody, including you, Tom. Just rest, do nothing, and I've done the complete opposite. I've buried myself in content creation and work and stuff, and right now I'm really feeling it badly. I've been suffering from nausea for the last 3 days. I don't know what it is, but when we feel a bit like out there a little bit. So
sucks, dude. Fucking this is why we are taking the entire next month off. Fucking so we can get everything. We're going to take the next month off. We're going to do a holiday special before Christmas, big one. It'll probably be.
Can we just say
long...
fuck the holidays and just call it Christmas special? I suppose.
Yeah, we call it. Well, I mean, I like Christmas. We can call it the Christmas. We're gonna do a Christmas special. It'll be a long episode. We'll probably bring on a guest, maybe even two, depending on what we do. But
I want to get someone that's made a Christmas movie on. I'm going to work on that.
Yeah, well, actually, I was gonna look to see if Don Mancini, who David Kirshner were kind of, bumped towards us. I want to see if he made a Christmas movie because he'd be a good guest to get on. Maybe.
Or maybe Scott Mosier.
Oh, that'd be excellent. You made the Grinch Stole Christmas. Come talk to us for a few minutes.
But yeah,
so are you gonna dress up? Are you gonna dress up for Halloween?
Probably not.
What? What do you mean?
I'm going away this week to Skegness. It's on the east coast of the England, and it's a seaside place. Just on the coast, but it's in the end of October, so it's not going to be like seaside weather. But
you're not going to go swimming.
No, you're probably not going to see many pictures of me in the sea. But I said to Kat, even if we're sat in a caravan playing Uno for a week, I don't give a shit. Like, I'm not taking my laptop on purpose, just going to zone out. I was even thinking of having like a social media break.
Yeah, do it. Fucking do it.
Just like, and when we get back, I've got an interview on the 30th with the amazing Ron Morgan, who gave me one of his books to read. And then on the 31st, which is actually Halloween, I have a radio show to do during the day, and another podcast to record. So I've got lots going on.
Yeah. It's no doubt that you're not busy. It's just like, how about if you dress in costume early in the day and just wear it all day?
I guess I could just do the radio dressed as a vampire. No one can see me.
Yes, that'd be excellent. Oh, dude, no way. That'd be so great. I'd be like, fucking Alex dressed like a vampire. Look at him sparkle.
I'll be the energy vampire from
what we do in the shadows. Yeah, I support that. That's fucking dope.
I went to the shop the other day and I went to buy a chocolate bar and I didn't have enough change. So I asked the guy, maybe not on a podcast.
Maybe. I, for one, will be dressing up. That's what I'll be doing.
You dressing up for Halloween? No fucking way.
Yeah, no way. It's so weird. It's something I would never do ever. Me and the wife have a couple's costume because we're gay, and we're gonna do that. Next year, I think I'm gonna grow out my hair for next Halloween, and I'm gonna be Mulder from X-Files. Like I already talked to Sean about. I was like, yo, let's do this. Let's take all year and like get the pieces to the costume and make it right. And the next year rolls around, we're gonna be fucking Scully and Mulder, and then we're gonna be fucking Scully and Mulder.
Who initiates the couple's costumes thing? Is it you? Or is it Shona?
It depends. Like originally it was a family costume thing. Like that was how it always was. We do family costumes. And then the kids got older. They stopped wanting to hang out with us. So now it's couples costumes. That's how we kind of do it. We do couples costumes.
Would it really piss her off if 1 year you're like, no, I want to go as Jason?
Well, we did that like a couple of years back. She went as Harley Quinn and I went as the Crow, which I was like, well, they're both comic book characters. So I guess there's that argument. But like ever so often we'll get a little individual streak. But no, we like doing stuff together. It's like we both really love Halloween and we like matching each other. So if you have like a husband and wife, costume idea, we generally go for it. We're sappy like that.
Speaking of the Crow, is it too early to talk about Alec Baldwin accidentally killing someone?
No, please tell me about this because I've only seen like blips of it, and that was last night. I was like, "What the fuck happened?" I have no idea what happened.
So they had a prop gun that they were using on set, and somebody put a real bullet in it, and he ended up shooting someone and killing them.
What?
Yeah.
When the fuck? When this happened? Where? What movie? What?
Okay, so I'm reading this off BuzzFeed now. Alec Baldwin described his shock and sadness over prop gun shooting that killed a crew member. There are no words to convey my shock and sadness regarding the tragic accident that took the life of Helena Hutchins, the actor said on Twitter. It says Alec Baldwin said he was too speechless to describe the grief he feels over the tragic death of Helena Hutchins, the cinematographer who was killed Thursday when the actor discharged a prop gun on the set of his upcoming film. There are no words to convey my shock and sadness regarding the tragic accident that took the life of Helena Hutchins, a wife, mother, and deeply admired colleague of ours. I am fully cooperating with the police investigation to address how this tragedy occurred. Baldwin tweeted, blah, blah, blah. Hutchins was the director of photography for the movie Rust, which Baldwin is co-producing and starring in as an Old West outlaw Harland Rust. The actor went on, I am touched with her husband, offering my support to him and his family. My heart is broken for her husband, her son, and all that knew and loved Heine. The film's director, Joel Sousa, 48, was also injured and released from hospital on Friday. There's a bit more. It says the details of the shooting are not yet clear, but the Santa Fe Sheriff's Office confirmed officials were dispatched to the Bonanza Creek Ranch movie set at 1:50 p.m. on the 21st of October. So this is like 2 days ago.
Wow. Okay, so there's a lot to unpack here. How the fuck did two people get hit with this bullet?
I don't know. Maybe we're no Kaiser Soze.
Dude, that's what all I see is he's got like an AK-47. It's like and like, what was he pointing at the fucking director of photography for? Was it a fuck?
Well, the thing is, well, I guess when you got blanks, you don't usually have to like aim. You just point it in the general direction and shoot. So if you're off a few inches, that can send the bullet a few yards either way. So it doesn't matter. It's one of those things. It says no charges have been filed in regard to this incident. Witnesses continue to be interviewed by detectives. The sheriff's office said, adding the investigation remains open and active. Somebody's got to get in shit for this, though, haven't they?
Oh, yeah. Somebody's in trouble. Like, where the fuck? Okay, so because anyone that knows the story about the Crow this is how it happened. A gun was loaded with what they call dummy bullets. Dummy bullets are bullets that look exactly like bullets. So when you see John Wick load up a clip full of bullets, those are dummy bullets. They look exactly like a bullet. There's no gunpowder in them, or very, very little gunpowder in them. There's a charge, the little cap at the end, but that's it. And then there's blanks. Blanks are bullets with no tip, but tons of fucking gunpowder. I'm like usually 2 or 3 times more gunpowder than you need, but there's no projectile, so it all flies out the end. And
they can still fucking hurt you, though. They can
still hurt you. They can still really hurt you. So what happened with the Crow is the gun was used with dummy bullets first. They pulled the trigger. It had just enough gunpowder and just enough charge to dislodge the tip of the 45 shell that they were loading. So then they put the dummy bullet in there, or the blank, and the bullet was still in the tip. They didn't check the fucking gun, so they loaded up the blanks. They fired it, and it went out 3 times faster than it normally would because there was a fucking bullet lodged into it. So that's how that happened, and that makes sense. It's really, really sad. But how the fuck did this happen? Like, I know that there's no details about it, but I'd be very interested to hear how this happened.
It's tragic. Like I've seen already on like the Garmy and stuff. I've seen pictures of Alec Baldwin with a teardrop tattoo, and people go nuts with it. And that's funny. That's the internet sad. Being the internet. It's sad. That's kind of funny. So it's kind of.
It popped up on my Google News feed. They're like, Alec Baldwin killed a guy. I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
It must be a horrible feeling though.
Oh yeah,
that must really be fucking. Imagine.
How'd you feel when you killed your first guy?
Elated. He was a cunt.
I finally felt something, Tom. I finally felt the will to live while I took the lives of others.
The need for speed.
Quickly before, unless you had something else. You have something else.
No.
Okay. What was your favorite Halloween costume as a kid? I understand that your mom did the best she could raising you guys. She obviously didn't have all the money in the world, but what was your favorite costume as a kid?
Oh, my Hulk costume.
A couple years back.
Yeah, completely painted my body green, white t-shirt, black trouser shorts.
Too. You're like, no, Kaz, it must be fucking. It's got to be green.
Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Nobody touch me.
There's lip marks everywhere on you, and you're like, what the fuck? You're like, sorry.
Yeah, it was the first Halloween thing me and Kaz did. Yeah, it was a good one.
Oh, was it a couple's costume?
No, she was a devil. Especially.
Oh, okay. No, so not at
all. I saw Venom 2 the other day.
Yeah, I saw that. Fucking you seem to like it.
I wanted to get your thoughts on this. Right, because I wanted to start doing a movie review show, like on the side,
Oh, cool.
15 minutes, just, I saw this movie, it's really good, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. But the problem with things like that is it generally sort of kind of generates more hate than kind of positive stuff.
Sure.
I did like Venom, but not to the point where I thought it was amazing. I thought like it was entertaining. Mm-hmm. I thought it could have been better. I don't think they did a good job of the characters at all whatsoever. But there was the fight scene towards the end was brilliant.
So spoilers. What's the end scene that everyone keeps talking about? Because I'm not going to watch anytime soon. Like I'm not.
I don't know if I should even tell with spoilers.
Oh really? It's that big, huh? All right, tell me after the
massive.
show. Tell me after the show.
Oh, I'll tell you, have to go and watch it though, guys. It is good. It's good. I mean, like my only issue with it is Eddie Brock versus Venom arguing and bitching that went through the first movie. It just carries on through this one. And you're thinking, I'm sure they should have got the shit together by now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wanted to see like
their relationship becomes very symbiotic later on.
Yeah. But yeah, it's good. Go watch Venom 2. Go watch Venom 2. Go watch it. Go watch it. Me and Timmy are starting because we did the Spider-Man movies.
Yes, you did.
Which led me to watching Venom 2. And now we're starting Captain America movies. It's a good way of doing the MCU, I think. You can do it in order, of course.
Yeah.
Going doing the Captain America movies and then doing the Iron Man movies and doing the Avengers movie. It's good. I like it.
I agree. I think that's a good way to watch them. Quickly, speaking of doing things with your kids, I downloaded Skyrim because Thomas is almost done with Kingdom Hearts. So I was like, oh, well, you can try Skyrim. And I was really proud of him until he started picking his character. And he picked an orc. And I was like, oh, I should put you up for adoption. Fucking who picks an orc? It was so funny. I had to post it on my Skyrim's fan thing that I'm part of on Facebook. And I said that, and like, there's so much love for orcs. Everyone's like, "What? They're so great!" Blah blah. And I was like, "Fuck you guys. It's not that great."
I've never played Skyrim. I need to play it.
No, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. He seems to really like it. He really rises to the challenge when it comes to video games, which is excellent. Like it's one of his passions, so he should. But like we've also been playing Mortal Kombat X together.
Oh yeah, that's good. I mean, the only problem with that is you have to buy you have to buy the extra fighters. That pisses me off.
Extra. I'm not gonna buy any extra fighters. I'll just play with what we got. He's been doing a lot of like cleaning and stuff lately around the house. So he earned Sora, the last character in Super Smash, which he's so fucking stoked about. Oh my god, you've never seen anyone more excited about something than him about Sora. I promise. I
finally finished Horizon Zero Dawn, which was good. I love that game so much.
I love that game. That game was
very good. I finished it and I'm still only 35% through. So I'm like, do I go and try 100% it? But that'll take a long time, I imagine. But I don't know. I'm thinking, guys, listen, the listeners, maybe you can help me out, but I need a new run of PlayStation games to play. So I was thinking God of War. But do I have to go from the original first one, or can I just start at any point with God of War?
You could start at any point, but definitely read the lore behind God of War because it's a really great story. Like
it's Legacy of Kain shit, right?
Kind.
It's in the same universe as Legacy of Kain. Am I right?
I don't. What's the story of Legacy of Kain?
Because he's in Soul Reaver, right? Kain, God of War,
Kratos.
It's all about Kain, isn't it?
What in God of War? No. Kratos is God of War. And Kain is the Legacy of Kain. Okay, so it's like this. Kratos was in Sparta. He begs the god of war Ares to, fucking give him the strength to vanquish his enemies. He gives them the chaos blades, and then he ends up tricking them into murdering his own family. So at that point, Kratos decides that he's going to kill the god of war. So he goes through it, collects things along the way that'll help him in his fucking mission, and then sure as shit, he kills the God of War at the end. So the next game is he starts off as the God of War. And none of the other gods are happy about it because he's not a real god and he murdered one of them. So fucking they're not stoked about it. And then it goes
Immortals.
Yeah. And then so after that, he goes against all the gods, and that's number 3. And it's fucking excellent. Those games are great. I started playing number 4. I have not finished number 4 yet, but I will eventually. They're great games. Like if you have PlayStation now, I would definitely recommend playing because they're all in there.
Okay, maybe I'll do that when I get back from Skegness.
Okay.
Right, we're running out of time. Obviously, we want to have a short, heavy metal later lounge.
I love that. Dude, we're gonna use that. That's fucking excellent.
We like it, yeah. Welcome to the later. I think we need to get some like white makeup and shit, like some piercings,
Juggalo or something.
Oh god, Thomas Churchill, what a great guest! Thank you so much for joining us today, Tom. What a great get! What a great get! I know you got a show later with the old Raby, haven't you, tonight?
Yeah, I'm catching some rabies later. We're gonna interview Dustin McNeil. He is an author of a couple books I really enjoyed, Slash of the Titans and Taking Shapes, and these are histories of horror. Like he looks at every single Halloween film that was made, that wasn't made. Like, it's really fucking in depth. And then the Slash the Titans is the complete history of Freddy vs. Jason. So it's so in depth, and I was like, fuck, dude, like I definitely gotta talk to this guy. So that's what I'm talking to later. I'll talk to you about it afterwards. We might maybe release as a double, because what's the point of releasing a Halloween episode after Halloween?
Yeah. So if you are watching this and you're watching the one with David Raby afterwards, like, don't worry, we're having a break. That is it.
Yes.
Like, we all need to charge our batteries. So we're going away. We'll do a Christmas special. Then in the new year, we're coming back in a big bad way. We just need to, like, if you joined us from the beginning of USUK right to now, there's been a lot of turmoil. There's been a lot of changes as things come and gone. And we started during COVID, and it's been very, very fucking difficult honestly.
And if you've been with us since Thorskin, you would then realize that we have been going nonstop for coming on 4 years. Like, we have never taken any serious break whatsoever. So it's important that we, like, you know, regroup, we fucking channel our shit, and we fucking just do it hard, because if you do something, even something you love too much, it becomes something you dread doing. So I imagine, like, me and Alex can't go like 2 weeks without recording. So give us like a month and a half off of recording, dude. We're gonna fucking come back. Like, are you ready? Are you ready to fucking record? Come on, let's do this. Come on. So you guys, we'd like to hear from you. If there's anybody you want us to bring on in the new year, if there's any type of people you want us to talk to, if there's anything, please, now is your time to do it, so we can start building the shows for the new year.
Yeah.
You guys can check out all of our shows. This show, What's the Difference, with Al and Tom. You can check out Wednesday Night Live. You can check out Yelling at Clouds with Eric Pfluger and Alex Wiley, all on USUKnetwork.com. That is our home and hub, and where we put all of our content. You can also check out our YouTube, anything else. And if you go to our webpage and you think it looks badass, because it fucking is, you can go and check out, you know, WebOrchard.com, because that's who made our website. Me and Alex didn't make it. We're lazy and tired, and we don't have any fucking time. But the guys over Web Orchard love making websites. In fact, that's what their fucking job is. So whether you need, last week's episode, David Kirshner, fucking what a dope dude. I'm debating calling him on Halloween, because he told me to call, but I'm like,
I love that guy. I'm so good that I couldn't be a part of that episode. He was such a lovely guy.
He's come back on. He really wants to meet you. Should I call him on Halloween? He
told me on the phone? Hi, David, it's me.
I showed you his email. He told me to, call him on his house. I'm just saying. Anyways, reach over to weborch.com, and they'll make you a fantastic website.
Right. This has been What's the Difference podcast. I'm Alex Whiteley.
And I am Tom Bruno. Happy Halloween, motherfuckers.
Happy Halloween, and I'll catch you guys at Christmas, okay?
It's Christmas we're talking about.
Christmas.
Hi, this is Ickis from Our Real Monsters. And I would like very much to ask you, if you don't mind, to watch the USUK Network with Tom, Bruno, and Alex Whiteley. Oh, that's all. I have to go flush myself now.